Hey everybody. I just want to get on here, talk about Love After Lock Up, Life After Lock Up. This is season 4, episode 20. Um, and just, to kind of say my observations because I watched this show, and even though it's mindless television, somebody like myself who thinks, um, it intrigues me the kind of behavior that people have, especially toward each other and the dynamics between men, women, women and women, men and men. So we'll start off with Taylor and Chance, and we'll start off with them because this I just see as a train that is bound to crash and be deadly. So Taylor has made it clear she does not want a wedding. She also tells us a little bit about why she's scared of this pregnancy, that she knows she's high risk. And it isn't so much because of her age. That's what I thought she was about to say. Because typically, even if you are older, if you've carried before, um, it tends to be okay. They don't have the same concern for you when it comes to high risk. Um, but with her, she starts talking about having miscarried the boy, and I think also having lost that baby with the same man she was engaged to is very scary and very hurtful for her. Um, and I can totally understand that. I can totally understand that. And I think even as I saw her crying in the confessional, I felt for her. And it also occurred to me, though, that Taylor, you really need some time to heal. It's fine to date. I don't think it's fine to bring a man in your house like that. But it's fine to date, get to know people if that's one of the things that help you with comfort, that kind of thing. But I really think she needs some real counseling, some real therapy to really work through this so she can be better for her kids, for the ones that are here and the one on its way. Okay? All right. So we get that, and I feel for her. But who I don't feel for is Chance, who is spending money that he doesn't have, who is very willing to engage in loans for a wedding and for a car that he did not need. That truck, he did not need it. Nothing economical. Um, doesn't contribute much, as far as I'm concerned, to the household except for a garage room for her sister, Bobby. They go to the doctor. And I don't know if it was just me, but I looked at the woman who was checking her in as kind of like somebody who's a administrative assistant or a secretary or who might be a nurse at a smaller practice. And I'm thinking that's who she is. She walks back there. She takes her back there. She does everything. Like she's telling her about look at the ultrasound, this, that, and the other. We don't ever see a doctor. All right. And if she was supposed to be the doctor, I'm gonna need her to look like one. Because I would not have known her. And some people don't care about things like that, but I care about the professionalism of a doctor. Because it tells me a lot about you. And I just felt like she was doing a little too much at her practice for me to kind of take it seriously. I don't know why. I'm not saying she didn't have the technology. I don't know if the doctor didn't want to be on camera or the real doctor or the fake doctor. I'm just, it looks strange. Now we go through it and she seems to feel better. The woman is reassuring her that the baby is healthy, and that's great. So she says she doesn't want to know the sex. They don't want to know the sex. They want to have a gender reveal party. So they're going to put it in an envelope. And I know people do that, and they might let their friend or their sister or somebody hold it until the gender reveal party. Whatever. She gets up, Taylor, to, clean herself up, get herself together and dressed, whatever. And Chance stays behind with the doctor, nurse, woman, secretary, whatever she is, and ask her, is it possible to get a paternity test? Not with her in there, with her out. And then says, the woman very quickly answers, yes. Like she doesn't tell him how to do it. She's waiting for him to respond. And here he is questioning the paternity of this child. He is in an actual, looking at an actual ultrasound, which means he knows at least the timeline of the baby. He knows how long he's been out of jail. If I've never seen her go to work, but I assume she works because she has a house and a car and kids. She's either at work or taking care of those kids, picking them up from school, so on and so forth. And you have the nerve to ask for a paternity test behind her back with several cameras on a national television show. And this is what I mean by I don't trust Chance. Yes, he gives me all kinds of abusive tease. I'm not saying that's what's happening, but he seems very much like an abuser, and at the least, an emotional abuser. That's the least. Because to do that is to humiliate and to embarrass a woman, and it's designed to degrade her. And it's so easy for men to be able to do that to women, and I don't like it. And we can say, oh, this is what you get if you date somebody at a prison. You could get this either way, and it's still wrong. But I think when I watch this on TV, how dangerous it becomes for people who are watching it to kind of justify their behavior, or people who are going through it to think to themselves, well, I guess that's not the only man that's ever done it. You know, there are people that will think that. I'm not here for it. He's a fuckboy. Next, 2. All right, I'm going to try this. Bronwyn and Chaz. Look, I'm going to be honest. I don't care. I don't. But Bronwyn, you didn't want that man anyway. Stop trying to act like it's because he went listening to somebody who wanted to tell him you were back to your old ways, whoever it was. For all we know, it could be the man you was talking to on the phone before. And he made up some fake profile and decided he would tell Chaz that to get him out the picture. But he didn't know Chaz, you know, he's kind of thirsty for you. So anyway, she's like, no, you want to listen to other people? I'm done with you completely. Let me tell you something. When it's just that easy to walk away, she did not care for that man. He was useful while she was in prison. Okay? It's over. It's done. I would not embarrass myself that way anymore. But then again, I don't know if contracts get pulled or, you know, or they're obligated to do this because of contracts. But whatever it is, it's not worth it. Yeah, next. Kevin and Tiffany and Kayla. Kevin meets up with Tiffany's best friend, who apparently thinks it's a good idea to appear on camera with a man that her best friend has said she didn't want anything to do with anymore. Maybe she knew about it. I'm sure she probably did. But nevertheless, Kevin's like, well, I don't know where she's been. She ghosted me, this, that, and the other. And she's like, she had no reason not to stop talking to you. He was like, no. I mean, what could it be? And to me, it's just so pathological. Particularly when you're on camera. And granted, people see this after it's recorded, but you know it's on camera. Kayla was at your house. Y'all had sex. This, that, and the other. Cut it out. Okay? And to play this game like, no, I haven't done anything to her. What's the big deal? I haven't done anything. You know, and then she mentions the video, basically, that we saw, where Kayla has him in the shower and says, leave us alone, bitch. You could tell, first of all, that her and Kevin weren't on the same page because, number one, if they were, she wouldn't have been whispering that. That should have been your telltale sign. 2, Tiffany is smart just to go ahead and leave it alone. You already made a mistake by letting the other guy go. Well, I don't know if letting him go was a mistake, but certainly going back to a man that already had these interactions with another woman. And in order for you to feel like he won't cheat on you, you bring in a third party. At least Tiffany has had sense enough to walk away from it. I hope. Kayla, it just seems like his friend is here for Kayla. The mother is here for Kayla. Even though she's crazy. Even though they have a completely dysfunctional relationship. And as far as I'm concerned, y'all can go ahead and have it. I just don't want to see them back on the next season. Next, Amber and Puppy. And this is when it got another problematic set of people. So Amber and Puppy calls her and says, look, I just want you to come over. She said, well, tell me what's wrong. And she said, well, look, I think you'll be here for me. I know you'll be here for me. And she said, I'm always here for you. Even after they done got into a whole physical fight. And Amber's there with her boyfriend, whose name I can't remember. And she's talking to him, and he was like, honestly, if it was me, I'm done with it. But I don't want to hear anything about, basically, Puppy's man, whose name I'm forgetting too. But oh well, you know what I'm talking about. So Amber, being the friend that she is, goes over there and checks on Puppy. She sees like drinks made, but they're already drank, and she was afraid that she had relapsed. She goes to see her, and Puppy, it's so clear to me, I'm not a psychologist, but she appears to be depressed deeply, even before this. She finds out she had been debating whether or not she wanted an abortion, and then she miscarries, and Dr. lets her know she's miscarrying, and it's heartbreaking. And I guess the conversation that really bothered me and hurt me, not hurt me, but just bothered me, was the conversation Amber was having with her boyfriend about Puppy's business. Not simply because she's telling him after he said he didn't want to hear anything about it, but because she was like, well, she was going back and forth on abortion, and he all of a sudden makes a sense, well, I'm against abortion. I'm against this. I don't think it's right doing this, that, and the other. Then she miscarries, and Amber says, well, if I was in a situation like that, he was like, well, you wouldn't be, or whatever. And she said, well, she makes some statement to the effect that basically we're responsible. She said, but if not, would you want to have a baby with me? And he was like, I want her to get on birth control because I don't want to have another baby. My kids are pretty much grown. I'm in my 40s. Pause. So you are okay with somebody being on birth control, okay, basically through human medication made by human beings, prescription meds, for women to control their hormones to keep from being able to fertilize an egg to have a baby with sperm. But you're against abortion. You do realize that you're out of order. You do realize that all of these things are decisions women should make about their body. But then at the same time, even as I'm saying that, well, I guess somebody who believes that a woman shouldn't have the right to terminate her pregnancy, actually, you know what? It doesn't make sense. No. He's stupid and he's ignorant and he's so typical of, and I know from my home state of Georgia, he is so typical of those conservatives who say things out the side of their neck, just really because their issues are undergirded by their hatred toward black people, toward women, and they have no idea how much they shoot themselves in the foot economically by just being tied to these quote unquote social issues that they really shouldn't have control over anyway, and they continue to do it. They continue to make these ridiculous arguments. And Amber, he's not for you. You get pregnant, he ain't gonna want no parts of it. You see, he ain't hardly raised them other kids. Whether he was in jail or not, he did not raise his kids. So I'm not here for it. And it doesn't matter. And I know some people will say things like, well, she was thinking about abortion anyway. It doesn't matter. Thinking about it and doing it are two different things. People, and I have known several women who have had abortions. It has never been an easy decision. And there is an incredible amount of guilt and pain. And whatever it is, it doesn't seem to go away for them. And it's because society is telling them all these things. They're confused. And particularly when I was in college, a very scary time, a very judgmental time. You're still young. You don't know what to do, so on and so forth. But whatever it is, let's not act like an abortion, thinking about an abortion, then having a miscarriage and kind of going, oh, well, that was so insensitive to me. And he is emblematic of many people. That's why it frustrates me. It would frustrate me on my own if it was just him and Amber having this conversation, but people do that all the time. You're so believing in this, that, and the other, I guess based on religious reasons. But my thing is, you basically living with somebody, having sex, and this, that, and the other. That all of that, you will be hard pressed to find biblical backup on it. Okay, so slow your roll. All right, so then we get to Brittany and Ray. And I still stand where I always stood with Ray. I think Ray is a nice guy, and I've said it before. I think he's somebody who just got caught up. Brittany is someone who wants to have kids, who has a nice guy, and I think has been so traumatized, has had such bad relationships. She wants to control and everything else. So she's questioning him about that bachelor party, which she's never going to get real answers for anyway. Girl, okay. I don't know how this wedding sped up. I swear, he only proposed 2 episodes ago, and it really seemed like just a few days ago in reality show Understanding. But anyway, 2 weeks away from the wedding, this is when she decides to get a prenup, or thinking about a prenup. So she goes to see the lawyer. She tells him, look, I have a fiance, but he has restitution, this, that, and the other. And he's asking, like, well, for what? And so she said, will that be my problem if we get married? And he goes, no, legally responsible. It really is just him in the state of Texas. It doesn't go to his wife. She was like, well, if we're thinking about having a child, will it go to the child? I was like, girl, like, no. But then again, it is Texas. So I guess you do have to ask. So he says no. He says this is his restitution. She doesn't tell him she's going to the lawyer because she says she doesn't want him to get mad. But you let Ray step out that house and not tell everywhere he's gonna be. Don't worry, she got a track on the car anyway. I think she does, or she might as well. She'd have a fit. And I'm still trying to figure out, and I'm gonna keep it real. And I can tell Brittany's parents have money, but they're also at an age where if somebody says they're retired, I'm not gonna necessarily ask what they do. You probably would ask what they did. I mean, they're not old, but I'm just saying you could tell that they've lived already. And Brittany, I don't know what you do. Like healthcare advocate, I advocate for healthcare. I can advocate for healthcare on social media. I don't get paid for it. I can believe in healthcare, yes. You see how I was just talking about abortion? But like I need to know what you do. Like, where do you go? Where do your W-2s come from? And if it's only love after lockup, I just need you to stop playing with me and trying to act like you have so much to hide. Or not hide, but protect from Ray. And Ray is still trying to endure this, laughing with her in the confessionals, like, where the hoes at? You know, because he was making fun of her because of the way she acted that time. And now she is going out doing this behind his back, then she comes back and tells him about what the lawyer said. And he's just looking like, okay, I knew that. We're going to stop this now. And I just think, I'm just trying to figure out, like, girl, protect your trust if you have one. Right, if you don't want to sign it, you also don't have to marry her. You can go back home and live with your grandmother because she seems to welcome you with open arms. And I just, there are very few people, particularly men, that I will say this about because they always seem to do something to hurt women. But Ray has really proven himself, and I just think she needs to chill. But those are just my thoughts. Anyway, love after lockup. These people, and you notice the majority of people in jail in this country are black. Well, I guess because they're in jail. But also, these casts are heavily white. So it still bothers me that people who get to make money off of getting out of jail and being on reality TV are still white people, not the majority of people that get incarcerated. Which would be a great opportunity. It's not like you can do like regular jobs immediately upon getting out. I don't like it. It gets on my nerves. Oh, I forgot somebody. Okay, we have Brittany, right? Amber, Puppy, Kevin, and Tiffany, Chaz and Bronwyn, Taylor and Chance, and there's somebody else. Who did I forget? Oh, Deontay and Lindsay. So Deontay, I don't know what else to do with you. Deontay, it's not like he's ugly. I mean, you could tell there's something a little off about him, to me at least. But first of all, you watch this woman, Lindsay, leave jail, come back to Mississippi, be in Scott's house, and I'm not simply talking about getting angry and tearing up his house. And I say simply because she had a whole attic room that she was mad he hadn't done more to create a room for her child, even though he was way past those years. And he was probably lying about how much he had anyway. That being said, she was up. Wasn't she the same one that had that girlfriend, like a whole girlfriend from jail, and had her up in the attic of Scott's house kissing her and everything on TV? And I'm sitting up here like, Deontay, you watched that season enough to imitate her behavior and the way she reacted? Lindsay is a hustler. Which means she don't mind messing with you while you put money on her books while she's in jail. So when she gets out, she can still be on this show. And you went for it. You saw her kissing somebody. Now, we know production set that up. But nevertheless, it's fake. It's dumb. It's done. Like, what is happening, like, in Virginia Beach, that you can't find anybody? We saw you go on a date with that black girl last season, but it was like, nah, I don't want that. You don't want to date no black woman? And then people do this kind of crazy stuff to you? She not checking for you like that. Deontay, I just want you to take a beat. and I want you to start listening to your mother. Because your mother seems to be your mother and your best friend really have your best interest. And I'm going to need you to listen to that circle and keep those people in your life, but really use them as a resource because they are trying to help you as you continue to hurt yourself. And you go after inmates. Baby, what is going on with the self-esteem? And I'm not saying that people who go to jail can't have a second chance. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying for somebody who's out of jail, who has not gone to jail, I will say that is a very strange choice, particularly if it's not your family member that you're communicating with, so on and so forth. DeAndre, love after lockup. I want all y'all to get it together, but I'm still gonna watch as y'all try to get it together. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Bye.